We all have a job to do. I plan for the future.
Welcome to WatchMojo's Did You Catch That? And today, we're looking at characters and storylines that the Inside Out films left in the memory dump. Number 10. Idea Farmer. On their journey back to headquarters in the first film, Joy and Sadness come across a collection of colorful characters. In an early draft, this would have included the Idea Farmer. Along with Bing Bong, Joy and Sadness become stranded in Idea Fields where the Farmer Man pulls over. He takes them on a wild ride down a narrow one-way road obscured by fog. Although Joy begins to second-guess if hitchhiking was the best idea, they make it to the other side in one piece. The filmmakers thought the Idea Farmer could be a solid source of humor, but the character didn't turn out as funny as they hoped. Not finding him necessary to the story, they cut the farmer and Idea Fields.
Hey, what's the big idea?
Number 9. Riley's Thanksgiving Pageant. Inside Out was this close to being a Thanksgiving movie. The plot initially wasn't going to revolve around Riley moving from Minnesota to San Francisco. Riley already would have been growing up in San Francisco, where she has one thing on her mind: playing the prized turkey in her school's Thanksgiving pageant. Reflecting on this version, director Pete Docter said it was, quote, bizarre and didn't really work. They opted for a more relatable conflict. Although Pixar nearly did something similar in the sequel,
I plan for the future.
in the first test screening for Inside Out 2, a talent show would have taken place. Director Kelsey Mann's team felt Riley's love of hockey should be at the center. Number 8. An antagonistic Joy. Joy has her flaws, but like Woody in the scrapped version of Toy Story, she was almost far more antagonistic. In several deleted scenes, Joy fights against the reality that Riley's getting older, meaning more boring responsibilities and less time to goof around. In this version, the emotions also would have had less authority over what Riley does, serving more as voices in her head. Joy's voice goes unheard as Riley loses interest in the monkey bars and other childish things.
Pizza and music isn't a party.
This incarnation of Joy was more entitled, resistant to growth, and kind of mean-spirited. Number 7. Music Cognition. Even after 2 films, there's still much uncharted territory in Riley's mind. Among the places we didn't get to see is music cognition. This land would have visualized music, exploring how it triggers thoughts and can function as a language. While venturing through music cognition, Joy's voice would have turned musical, taking on shapes.
What's happening?
No, they turned it on.
Never seen this before.
This proposed setting was ultimately left out of the first film because it shared too much in common with abstract thought, another location that morphs the intangible into something more literal. If Inside Out is ever adapted into a stage musical, though, music cognition sounds like a prime locale to revisit. Number 6. Procrastination Land. It's never easy for a director to admit that one of their favorite moments isn't working. For Inside Out 2, Kelsey Mann conceded that Procrastination Land didn't fit into the narrative as much as he loved the idea.
It is funny, but it's just hurting the moment.
The emotions would have come across this location with a perpetual coming soon sign. Anger questions when they're going to start building this place as the crew looks at their phones, delaying construction until tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Number 5. Other Imaginary Friends. He's part cat, elephant, dolphin, and cotton candy. But did you realize Bing Bong also dresses like a traveling tramp? There's a reason for this. Originally, Joy and Sadness were going to meet Bing Bong at Hobo Camp, which provided a home for out-of-work imaginary friends. The place would have been populated with doodles and other things Riley dreamed up when she was 3.
Imagination Land is the best!
In addition to Bing Bong, the camp featured a stick figure named Ms. Scribbles and Mr. Sun, who is essentially an arc drawn in the corner of a paper. While this might have amounted to some fun visuals and jokes, the filmmakers limited the imaginary friends to 1. Number 4. Bing Bong the Anarchist. Like Joy, Bing Bong was originally going to be more reluctant to accept Riley's maturity. In a deleted scene, we see Bing Bong protest the expansion of Riley's mind as the construction comes at the expense of Imagination Park.
Power to the imaginary people!
That locale evolved into Imagination Land in the finished film. A few other ideas from this scene were also revived in the sequel. The sarcasm generator, for example, became the sarcasm.
Boy, are we so lucky we ran into you guys!
Boy, are we so lucky we ran into you guys.
Wow.
As for Bing Bong being a radical, this character trait was discarded. Number 3. Joy Alone. As satisfied as Pete Docter was with how Inside Out turned out, he looks back at one deleted scene, wondering if they missed something special. The sequence, entitled Joy Alone, sees the character dive into an ocean of subconsciousness. Joy essentially encounters an imaginary Riley who will never grow up. Although this isn't the real Riley, Joy is tempted to remain in this fantasy world where nothing changes. Joy has come to realize, though, that change is necessary and she has to be there for Riley.
But by now, Joy has learned too much and she knows that she can't abandon the real Riley who's growing up.
Number 2. Joy and Fear's Adventure. The script more or less always revolved around Joy getting lost in Riley's mind. In its earliest incarnation, though, Joy's traveling partner was Fear rather than Sadness. Fear was also more aggressive in this version, trying to prevent Joy from returning to headquarters in one sequence.
You know, I'm sorry for trying to destroy you. That really crossed the line.
Doctor found that the people he's closest to not only shared in the good times, but also the sad times. He wasn't sure how his crew would respond to the idea of rewriting and re-storyboarding a film already deep into development. Fortunately, his colleagues agreed with this new direction, making sadness an essential part of the story. Number 1. Cut emotions. While the filmmakers narrowed it down to 5 emotions, they initially envisioned 27. In an alternate opening, we would have met hope, pride, and schadenfreude. Ennui even appeared, although she had to wait until the sequel, as did envy, embarrassment, nostalgia, and anxiety. Where the sequel introduced 5 new emotions, there could have been 9. Schadenfreude was again given the axe, along with jealousy, awe, suspicion, and guilt.
Riley's life is more complex now. It requires more sophisticated emotions than all of you.